Welcome back to Talking Ship with Cherry Moon Travel. I am your host, Rosie, and I am here to talk about things that I see people talking about in groups. And a lot of them ask a lot of questions. They're first time cruisers. So I'm here to try to help answer some of those questions. I am an accredited cruise counselor. I've been cruising since 2002, and I've been on 6 different lines. So everything here is not a do this, do that, don't do this, or don't do that. It is simply my advice, my experiences that I share that I hope is helpful. And you can feel free to ask any additional questions. But a lot of the questions that people ask can be answered on the cruise line's website, the FAQs. And when you book a cruise now, everything is in an app and they have the FAQs right there in the app. But people still want to ask. And sometimes I see the answers that are given um, stress the people out even more. So I came on here to create this podcast to kind of help people from a travel professional's perspective. So today's question was, what's the first thing you do when you board the ship? Now, for me, I'm just so excited to be on board. I try to get on as early as possible. And the first thing that I do is explore the ship. That's something I recommend that people do. I know a lot of people get on and go straight to the pool. I've never done that, but to each his own. If that's what you want to do, that's fine too. You're on vacation. You do what works for you. But a lot of times, I've noticed like several days into the cruise, people still are trying to find their way around. So I get on, I tour. I find out where everything is. I find out where my cabin is. I find the best route to my cabin. I find out where the dining room is, where I find the lounge, the casino, all the things that I'm interested in during my cruise vacation. I want to know where it is, at least have an idea. Then, second stop is lunch. Probably Guy's Burger Joint is probably the next stop after I do my mini tour. If you are um, a parent and you're bringing younger children on that you are expected, um, um, if you are putting them in the camp, when you get on board, you have to go there first and sign them up. So make sure you are familiar with that. The carnival camp is where you take anywhere from 6 months up to 17 years old. You sign them up there and they make friends and they do activities with them on board the ship. But you do have to take care of that in the beginning. And also, you have to do your muster drill. Back when I started cruising, it was a pretty painful experience, especially the time of year you were cruising, where you were departing from. It could be extremely hot. So we had to physically take the life jacket from your cabin. You had to carry it with you, go to your muster station, which was sometimes several decks down from where your cabin. I typically stay in the higher level decks. So we had to go down sometimes 3 or 4 decks. I always like if it was in the main lounge because it was air conditioning and you could sit down. But several times we had to be outside on the deck. You would stand out there and they would have everybody assigned to your muster drill stand there. And then they would account for each person. And if people didn't show up, we had to stand there and wait and wait and wait. And then afterwards, imagine a massive amount of people dispersing, trying to get back. You had to return your life jacket back to your cabin. So people would drag them. There would be the straps would be on the floor and you'd be going up and down. Of course, the elevators were packed. It was hard to get on. So you had to walk back up like 4 or 5 flights with this. So if you are a new cruiser and you don't have to do that, your muster drill now, you go and you do it independently. So the last cruise I went on last year was we went and I watched a video in my cabin on the TV in the air conditioning. It was great. Then you do then have to go to a person and say you watched it, and then they do give you a mini drill and have you sign something uh, to account for you that you know where your muster drill, where your muster station is going to be. And for those of you who are new cruisers, you may not know, muster station is where you will gather in the event of an emergency. So hopefully you don't have to ever go there. But if you do, you'll gather there. You'll bring your life jacket if you can get it. If you cannot get it, they will have some at the uh, um, lifeboats. But you gather there, and that would be where they would account for everyone on board and proceed from there. So that's what you need to do when you board the ship, first of all. You have to do your muster drill, get your children signed up for camp, and get familiar with the ship, knowing which direction things are in. The very first video in this podcast is terminology. I tell you what the forward is, the aft, the starboard, the port side, midship, front, bow, stern. I give you all the terminology, gangway, so that you're familiar when you get on board. So if you haven't watched that one, watch that first, and you'll understand where to go in the event that you need to disembark the ship. So that's what I do. I get on board, get familiar, and go have lunch. And then wait for the sail away party, which is the highlight of the cruise for me. There's several things I enjoy, but the sail away party is always fun. It's a deck party as you depart your port and your cruise begins. It's a lot of fun. And so that's what you'll do when you board the ship. Also, if you want to purchase spa treatments, drink packages, you can sign up for those on your first day. That's the best thing. And you can also do reservations for restaurants. So you can go to the restaurant and take care of that. I also would recommend, if you have any food allergies or dietary restrictions, make sure you go to the main dining room if you plan on eating there and see the maitre d', and make sure that they have your dietary restrictions noted, and they will take care of you every evening. Thank you. And again, please subscribe. And if you're interested in coming on and talking about your cruise experience, I would love to talk to you. And I will see you in the next one.